Listen, people, we're back with another great episode of When She Wanna Cook For You, Here's What You Do. I'm Moore. We're in Jersey, and this man next to me, Chef Justice, we finally got him on the show. Chef Justice, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, my God. Listen, you know I'm really excited? Because, like I said, we're in Jersey, but this brother's from Brooklyn. So you know how I feel every time I get a Brooklyn person on this show. I get super excited like it's December 25th, and we're rocking and we're ready to go. But seriously, though, Chef Justice is so well-rounded. We're talking books. He's done podcasts. You know, he's done a lot. He has the website is tremendous. So to get him on, we had a small window. He said, "Moore, this is the window I'm giving you. You need to be there at that time because you may not get me again." No, he didn't say that, but he gave me a small window, and we're rocking out. Chef Justice, what are you going to cook for us today?
Well, today I'm going to take viewers into North Africa, and we're going to do a couple of Moroccan dishes. I recently just came back from a trip from there where I spent a few weeks, and I drove around the country, and I visited many cities in the country, and I connected with some local chefs, and they taught me the basis of cooking Moroccan food. So I actually learned from the sauce.
Wow, that's exciting. You got people out here who don't even know how to spell Morocco. So we're going on this journey. I'm super excited. Like I said, I've never had this done before.
Okay.
Even when he was describing the dishes, they were amazing. No knock on anybody who's been on the show, but this is just a little different than what we're used to. So the excitement level is there. Listen, in a real deal kitchen, I'm Moore, and we are going to let Chef Justice do his thing. When she no longer wants to cook for you, Chef Justice's day is going to show us what to do, educate us, and internationally educate us on, you know, just Moroccan dishes, cuisine. And so we'll be right back, people. Brooklyn's in here. Take care.
Hi guys, my name is Justice Stewart. I'm a chef out of New York City. I currently reside in Brooklyn, but I'm originally from Queens, New York. And I'm here to show you guys how to cook Moroccan food. I just returned from a recent trip in Morocco, and I connected with some local chefs, and they taught me the basics of Moroccan cuisine. And now I'm here to show you guys the procedures and the techniques and things like that. The first thing we're gonna start off with, we're gonna do a simple Moroccan omelet. A Moroccan omelet is made with a product called Khlea. Khlea is a preserved beef it's dried, it's seasoned, it's simmered again, and then it's stored in its own fat, and it remains shelf stable up to a year. And if you keep it in your refrigerator, it'll last more than a year. This is what it'll look like. It's a little harder to probably get this in the States, in the United States, but I do see that you can order it online. When you make it, you have to be careful with your salt content. I don't add salt because the Khlea has a lot of salt and it's very salty. So you wanna be frugal when you use it in your dish. So I'm gonna take you over here. What I'm gonna show you is I have approximately 6 or 7 eggs that I whisk up, and we're gonna season it. We're gonna season it with a little bit of cumin. We're gonna season it with some black pepper, and as I said, we're gonna omit the salt. So we're gonna add maybe a teaspoon of cumin powder. And we're just gonna add a bit of black pepper. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of cream. You can use light cream, you can use half and half, you can use heavy cream. We're only gonna use a couple of tablespoons. That usually helps your eggs stay fluffier when you cook them. You're gonna whisk it really well. Get them ingredients mixed in there. Feel free to use whatever seasoning you want. You don't necessarily have to use cumin. I mean, you can use coriander. Some people might want to use turmeric and all kinds of seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder. For your taste buds, make it according to your taste buds. So after whisking this, What we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to the oven and we're gonna turn it on medium high. I mean, although this is a professional kitchen, so the fire here is gonna be a little bit higher than you would have at home. But I would say use medium high flame. I'm gonna use lower flame here. So as that heats up, we're gonna take the Khlea. As you see, it's just in its own fat. It's beef, seasoned. I chopped it up a little bit more to spread out in the omelet. And everything you see in here is the same fat that it's stored in. We're gonna add that to the pan. Now you want that to simmer a little bit. Maybe you might let this one simmer for 5 or 10 minutes. And that will rehydrate the beef a little bit more and soften it up a bit before you add your egg mixture into it. Okay? As you see, it's starting to simmer. As I said, these burners over here are quite fast and they get things simmering fast. But you want to just let this sit for 5 minutes in the simmering oil. Meanwhile, you'll chop up some onion. You don't have to use a lot. This is, it's too much for what I want to use it for. So I'm going to use basically like a 1/4 cup of this onion to add in with the beef to soften it up. Now we're gonna let this simmer a bit until the onions soften, which should take a couple of minutes. All right, and when we come back, we're gonna add our egg mixture and we're gonna plate this baby up and we're gonna go to the taste test.
That smells good.
I know.
All right, and guys, we're back. We let this simmer for a little while. And now, before you add your egg, what you actually want to do is you do want to drain off some of the fat from the beef. You don't want too much of it, but we needed it to simmer the fat in. So you only want to leave a couple of tablespoons in prior to throwing the eggs in. You can feel free to reuse the fat if you're cooking something in it, or like I'm probably going to just discard this because I have a lot already. So we're going to drain most of this fat out of here without the meat.
And Chef, if I don't have Khlea handy or I don't feel like ordering it, do you have a recommendation on what else I can use?
Well, you can also use, let's say you have leftover beef stew. You could chop up the cube beef. You can basically use whatever you want because it's an omelet. It's a Moroccan style omelet, but nevertheless, it's an omelet. So, you know, just stick with the thinking of an omelet. If you can't find Khlea, use whatever else you got, but you can still use the same spices and same seasonings. Okay, so now that we drain most of the oil we're not going to use out of it, we're going to go in with the egg mixture. Now, usually in Morocco, they would cook this in a tagine, whereas they would simmer the beef and they would just crack eggs into the cooking beef and leave the eggs whole, and then they would cook it in tagine covered into a cooked stew. I'm doing it more of a omelet style, American style, if you want to call it that. So now we're going to let this cook. There's no need to move it around much. We're just going to let this simmer on the stove top until the eggs are done, or until the eggs are nearly done. We're gonna allow the eggs to steam, shall I say it. We're gonna cover it when they're nearly done. We're gonna remove them from the heat. We're gonna cover them, and we're gonna let the cooking process finish in the pan. And so when we come back, I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay, guys, these eggs look about done. As you can see, they're still loose, but for the most part, they're cooking pretty well. So now, what we want to do is we want to throw a top on it, and we're gonna we're gonna let the eggs steam the rest of the way. Turn this down extremely low because we're gonna pull it off the heat in a minute or so. We're gonna let that cook, but it should take you a couple of minutes for it to cook the remaining way. We know eggs cook really fast. So we'll come back, this will be done. We'll plate it, we'll garnish it, and then we'll taste it, the best part of it. Hey guys, I guess our Moroccan omelet is done, as you can see. Usually the way Moroccan food is served, a lot of times when you go, it's served family style, where everybody eats together and they pick from the same pot with bread or things like that. We're gonna garnish this. Garnish it, some chopped parsley. You can use chopped mint or whatever your favorite is. And now we're gonna take this and we're gonna slide the entire omelet onto a platter. And if you're not using a tagine, you might want to make sure you use a non-stick pot if you want your omelet to stay together and not stick to the pan. So that would be a tip I would give you. This was made in a non-stick pan, so I was able to slide it right in. So I think we should try this.
Hey guys, listen, I know you're seeing me really early on this segment. We're only a few minutes in, but Chef Justice, the meal, the dish he prepared is egg, smelling nice. I had to have it now. Actually, I have to eat it now because I have to eat it now. So I'm about to be greedy early. I'm being greedy early greediness, okay? You can call that. Chef Justice, let me have it.
Oh, okay.
It smells so good.
So I even slice it like a pizza.
Okay, okay.
Here's a fork.
And what's some of that red stuff right there? What is
All right, so this is harissa paste.
Okay.
It's a Moroccan spicy pepper sauce. They use it in a lot of their dishes, but contrary to some belief, Moroccan food is not very spicy. They don't use hot spice as much as people may think. They give you flavorful food without killing you with spice. I'm not a big spice person. I don't like to eat too heavy a spice, but they get their spices just right, and the food is really seasoned well there. And I'm gonna add a little bit of harissa paste. I'll put it on the side, so you know if this one, because this version is an extra spicy version, so this is spicy.
I hate being so greedy. When you're behind the camera and the food is smelling so good. That is good. Wow.
Yeah, but do you get the saltiness of the beef?
Yeah, I do.
And yeah, you know, that's the reason why we don't really add salt to the dish.
Because the beef already has its own.
Yes, yeah, the beef already has enough salt for the entire dish.
Man, that is really good.
And the harissa just adds an extra spice. Not everybody uses it, but the harissa does add another dimension of flavor.
I wanted to try it with and without it.
Yes, definitely.
You know, you want to kind of see how it tastes without it. Amazing. I don't want to eat the whole dish on camera. People get on my case about that, but I just may have to. But let me talk to you about, you know, I'm here early, so I'm going to ask you a few questions. Let's go from the very beginning. What was your motivation behind, what got you started into cooking?
Well, most of my family cooks. I come from a family full of cooks, from my aunts to my grandmother to my mother. My brother's actually a chef, professional. And, you know, I've always dabbed in cooking. I started in construction. I worked about 12 years in construction, and I worked all different aspects of it, from carpentry to masonry to truck driver. I've done it all in construction. And I always had the desire to cook. And a lot of people were urging me, why don't you leave this? Why are you in construction? Because you seem to cook so well and present your food so well. And one day, I just took a shot. A friend of mine owned a catering company, which they were providing the LinkedIn offices in the Empire State Building, providing them with food, catered food. And he brought me into the business. And from there, I never looked back. I went on to become a sous chef in Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
Yeah, in the owner's suite, James Dolan's suite, during all the Nixon range.
Wow,
games.
okay.
Yeah, all the
My new best friend.
all the season ticket holders. And, you know, I just I just became a student of the game, and since I didn't go to culinary school, I had to learn on the fly. So everything that came to me, I had to absorb it and utilize it to the best of my ability.
You mentioned construction.
Yeah.
And I did my homework on you. Very interesting, man. How did that go? How was that transition from construction to chef culinary? Like, was it hard? Was it a challenge?
Well, I was already cooking,
Okay.
so the challenge of the food wasn't hard. It was transitioning into how professional cooking is versus home cooking.
Yeah.
It's a whole different animal.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
your professional cooking. And once I learned it, you know, I've done events where it's just 1,000 people. Like, you know, I've done events such as that. I've worked in meals from plated food to buffet,
Gotcha,
so family
gotcha.
style. So it was a transition of learning, but once you get it, to me, it was like riding a bike. I got it. This is, you know, I started developing my own style of how I wanted to cook, the types of food I wanted to cook. And I like to cook everything. I don't dab in one cuisine. As you see, I like to learn from different cultures and try out their food. I'm not afraid.
You say that, and you got to go on his well, I saw your Facebook, and it's very broad. Like, I was like, Jesus, you cook a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
really surprised, like, to the point I'm like, wow. Let me ask you this: what's the first dish you would say you made that you was like, I got this, I mastered this, or that dish that everybody's like, you got to make that? What's that?
Lobster pasta.
Yes, I have a lobster pasta dish in my cookbook that everyone who tried it and cooked this dish gave it a AAA rating. Actually, in fact, my cookbook, that was one of my recipe items that the publishing company had tested, and they got such a positive reaction back that they offered me the cookbook deal.
Wow. Yeah, we're going to get into that cookbook because it's really impressive. But let me tell you, everybody knows I make the best lobster crab balls. I deep fry them. They ain't on your level, but lobster is just a very cool word to me. But, and like I said, we are going to get into, because you are a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
So we are going to get into the website. We're going to get into the cooking book. And he's done a lot of other great things. So these were the first off questions, but we're really going to get to know Chef Justice in a little bit. Listen, we'll be right back. When she don't cook for you, Chef Justice is showing us what to do. That was tremendous, people. That aged beef hit it.
Yes.
Hit it. That's a whole nother science to cooking. I got to look into that. I got to ask this question. Can anybody do that?
Yes, this dish is pretty easy. In fact, both of the dishes I'm going to do today, they're pretty easy.
Okay.
You could do it at home. I'll have the recipes available for you on the website, and it's dishes anyone can do. And I'll explain it as best I can to help walk you through it.
Okay. Listen, people, he's got to work on round 2, so we will be right back.
All right, guys, and now we're back. The second dish I'm going to cook for you guys is something called a Moroccan Tagine. Now, a tagine describes both a cooking vessel and the name of the actual dish that's cooked in it, whereas it can be beef, chicken, or they do things like camel and rabbit and all different types, but the name of the dish is tagine, and the name of the cooking vessel is a tagine. Now, let me show you what a tagine is. This is a traditional cooking tagine that I brought back with me from my travels to Morocco. You can see they're either clay or ceramic. Some of them are glazed, some of them aren't. You see the inside is glazed, but the inside, the top is not glazed. And the reason why they use these pots is they use them for when they cook stews and slow cooked dishes. It imparts a more earthy flavor because of the pan that you're cooking in. But also the conical design allows the condensation to travel to the top and drip right back on top of the food you're cooking, which helps it self-baste its own. So you don't have to utilize it and keep basting. You just let the pot do its job. And you can also do this dish in a Dutch oven if you have one, or any kind of brazen pot. But since I brought this back from Morocco, let's keep this as authentic as we can. Now, these are the things you're gonna need for this dish. We're gonna do a chicken tagine with olives and preserved lemon, okay? So these are the ingredients you're gonna need for this. Of course, you're gonna need green olives. Now, let me explain. This is two different types of Ras El Hanout. That's what it's called. And it translates to the spice maker, the best spices in their shop. They put them all together, and it's called a Ras El Hanout. So I have one that's more yellow, more curry looking, and one that's more red. These items don't have any salt in them. It's just different types of spices. Some have cumin, turmeric, chili powder, fenugreek. There's all kinds of flavors that go into these. You're also going to need preserved lemon. Now, preserved lemon is a lemon that's been cured in salt. It intensifies the flavor, so you get tangy and salty, which means don't use a lot of salt in your dish that you're making, because this is going to more than make up for it. We're going to use my favorite, saffron, most expensive spice in the world. We're going to steep this into some chicken stock to bring out the flavors and aroma of the saffron before we add it to our braising pan. We're also going to use some Moroccan harissa paste. Harissa is a Moroccan pepper sauce. Some of them are mild. This one's more of a spicy, on the spicy side. You're going to need some some onions cut up. I added some red bell peppers for color and depth of flavor. And along with this dish, we're gonna make Cous Cous, which is another Moroccan. It's a pasta. It's not a grain. It's a pasta, very small, and it's traditionally eaten in Northern Africa. And we have our chicken. And I choose to use the darker meat chicken because it stops it from drying out and things like that. But you can use chicken breast, or like I said, you can use beef, you can use goat, you can use whatever protein you would like to make. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take this saffron and we're gonna pour it into the warm stock. Now, we're gonna let that steep for a little while. Now, the onions, oh, sorry, you're also gonna need one cinnamon stick. The onions, we're gonna flavor with some of the Ras El Hanout, right? And we're gonna do the same thing with the chicken. And we'll put the rest over here. Okay? Now, as I said, these items do not have any salt in them, but you can add salt, but just be very frugal with it. I also would like to add some black pepper to it. And you can add it to both. You can add black pepper to the onions. They're all going into the same pot, excuse me. But usually you marinate these things first. We're gonna mix up the chicken with the spices and everything. Now, the marinating process, I usually like to let the chicken and the onions and everything marinate for at least an hour. But on time constraints we have today, we're not going to do that. You can also feel free to add salt to the onions also, you know, just give it a little more flavor. And with our preserved lemon, if you notice, I cut it into strips and I remove the inside of them out because that'll make it extra salty if you keep that. But usually I remove the interior of it and I add it to the marinating chicken for more flavor. But this time I didn't do that. I'm just gonna add this to the actual stew when we start cooking. So we're gonna give the saffron a little bit of time to steep in the liquid. You'll start seeing the liquid turn an orangey color, and then you'll know that it's ready. And then we're gonna start cooking this dish. And we'll be right back with that. All right, welcome back, guys. So now, let me first explain to you how to use a tagine dish. When you have a tagine, it's made from clay and ceramic, so you don't want to put it directly on the fire. So what I usually do, I'll take a heavy bottom pan, you can use a cast iron pan, and you sit your pan in there and you allow the metal to absorb the heat, and it conducts the heat into your clay pot, and that would stop your pot from cracking. Because if you put this on direct heat, it will crack on you, all right? So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna do this chicken. We're gonna get the chicken, see it up, give it a little brown, get the Maillard effect going, whereas the brownness gives it a little more flavor. And then we're gonna get this dish going, okay? So first, you remember, you have your seasoned chicken. I have a pot that right now is currently on. I'm gonna oil it. We're not looking to cook the chicken fully here, okay? Let me turn that down, it's a little high. We're not looking to cook the chicken fully. We're only looking to brown it and give it a little bit more flavor. And if you need to do it in batches, do it in batches. You don't have to fit everything in at once. The tagine size I have, I may not be able to fit it all in there at once, but it's okay to do things in batches. Let's stop there. Okay, so what this does is it adds a little bit of a brown crust onto the skin of your chicken, because you got to remember, it's not going to stay crispy because you're going to braise it. And in the process of it braising, your chicken, the muscles are going to break down, and you're going to have fall apart, delicious braised chicken. Try not to have your fire too high because the spices on there can burn and cause you a problem. Now you're going to have burnt tasting chicken in your tagine, and nobody wants that. Okay. Yep, you don't need to go that long. See, that's about as far as I want to go with it. I just want it to have some color on it. A little bit of browning very quickly. This has only been on here for like 5 minutes. As you see, already the spices are browning in the pan. Okay. And just like that, what I've done is I've taken the seasoned onions and everything, and I put them on the bottom of the pot to start, okay? And I'm putting them back into the diffuser pan, and we're gonna take these pieces of chicken and we're gonna put them into this pan and then return this to the heat, and we're gonna cover it. And remember, this is a braised dish. So you can do this with almost any kind of meat. The seasonings that you use can be the seasonings you like, but I prefer to do a little more authentic, so I decided to go with things I brought back from Morocco to make the dish more authentic. Okay? And you know what? That's all I can fit for now in the tagine. And I'm gonna take the remaining onions. I'm gonna put those in there. We're gonna get this fire off. The broth that you had the saffron in, you're gonna add that broth. And remember, the onions will also create its own liquids in the pot, so you don't need to put too much liquid in the pot. I like to just add a little bit of parsley in there. Use the preserved the preserved lemons. You can drop those in there now. Don't worry, as this simmers down, everything's gonna cook down into one stew. I'm not gonna use this second one because it would just be too much lemon flavor, but I wanted to show it to you whole. Get your flame going. That's about as high as I need it. Move the pot to the fire. Close it and you let it do its work. This may take an hour and a half. It may take a little longer, but you just let it simmer and let it cook slowly in your tagine pot, okay? And when we come back, I'm gonna show you what to pair with it. We're gonna make a couscous with golden raisins, and we're gonna make a roasted eggplant with Aleppo pepper. So I'll see you on the other side. Once again, we're back cooking Moroccan tagines, but you also need a side dish to go with this. So I'm gonna give you two side dishes that are really good to go with this tagine. Now, the first is gonna be a vegetable side. We're gonna cook some eggplant. We're gonna roast it with basically some of the ras el hanout I showed you earlier. We're gonna season it with that, and we're gonna season it with Aleppo pepper. Now, Aleppo pepper is commonly used in the Middle East, Mediterranean. Most Syrian cooking is done with Aleppo pepper, but I wanted to add a different spin to this dish, so I'm gonna use Aleppo pepper for it. So first, what you wanna do is you wanna cube up your eggplant. There's no special way to doing it. Just simple cube. I like to leave the skin on because when you roast eggplant, it can become really soft. And if it gets mushy, it's gonna be hard to eat. The skin keeps the meat intact of the eggplant. So we're just gonna do a simple cube on these. You know, you don't need to make them small. You can make them whatever size you desire. And you know, eggplant tends to turn brown after you cut it. If you're not cooking it immediately, you can add some lemon juice to it, toss it in lemon juice. That'll stop the oxidizing process. It won't brown as fast. Okay, nice cubes. Okay. Okay. So, as you can see it, we're gonna throw a little bit of olive oil on them. Gonna toss it up, get it all nice and coated, and we're gonna do some seasoning with this. You want to toss it up. You want to add a little bit of kosher salt. Toss it up. And then you're going to add some Aleppo pepper. Add it depending on your spice level. Okay, we're going to move these over here. And we're going to spread it out on a sheet pan. Try to make sure they're separated so they cook evenly. And then we're going to get this bad boy in the oven, and you're going to cook it at 400 degrees, maybe for about 15, 20 minutes, and then you're done. And when we come back, I'm going to show you how to make a couscous with golden raisins. And we're back, guys. Now we're gonna prepare the couscous with golden raisins. Pretty easy, straightforward dish as a side. It's a traditional Moroccan, it's not a grain. Couscous is a pasta. Most people think it's a grain, but it's not. It's a pasta. And you essentially have to steep it in hot water and it cooks itself. Cover it and it cooks itself. There's different varieties of it. You got Israeli couscous, which is a bigger. You have tri-colored couscous, which is a whole bunch of different colored couscous. But we're going with a Moroccan couscous, just a plain Moroccan couscous. So what I want to do first is I want to take some of this hot chicken stock I have. Now I only have 2 cups of couscous, so I'm going to use 4 cups of chicken stock or broth, whatever you have on hand. You can use water, but I find using stock, your dish becomes more flavorful when you use chicken broth or chicken stock or beef stock, depending on what you're cooking. Okay. So now what I also have here is have some golden raisins. I let them steep and soak in orange juice for a couple of hours. So when you do mix it with the couscous and you eat it, you get a citrusy pop. And this is just your plain old golden raisins, but enhanced with orange juice, okay? So I'm gonna just put the couscous. I'm gonna take my chicken stock, cover it, give it a quick stir, and I'm gonna just cover it and put it to the side. We will mix the golden raisins in, but we're gonna let the couscous right itself first, and then we'll toss up the golden raisins when that's done. And right now, we should check on this tagine, shouldn't we? That's looking beautiful. It looks good. It smells good. You can see everything is breaking down. We're gonna let that go for a little while. And when we come back, we're gonna finish this dish off, and I'm gonna send you home with some Moroccan knowledge. Okay guys, we're coming to the end of this cooking segment. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take the chicken tagine and we're gonna bring it over so we can start our plating. This, my friends, is a Moroccan tagine. And I added olives to the mix, but I added them 20 minutes ago to allow them to simmer. You don't need to let them braise with the chicken. And as I said, your salt element is gonna come from the olives and the preserved lemons, but you're gonna have so many added dimensions of flavor. You see your celery, your cinnamon, you see what happened to it? It expanded, it blew up. So we're gonna plate this, we're gonna start with the couscous. Now the couscous, as I told you, I soaked golden raisins in orange juice to give them a little citrusy pop. I added them to the couscous, tossed them up. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna start with the couscous and the eggplant. The eggplant's cooked beautifully. You see the caramelization on it. It's nice and seasoned. It's a perfect side dish to this chicken tagine. If you guys can smell how it smells in here, you would just fall over yourself trying to get a bowl of this. All right, and for good measures, I like to give it some diced mint as a garnish. That adds a nice depth of flavor and dimension to this dish. And now let's talk about this chicken. The chicken should be nice and tender and cooked to perfection. As you see the olives, do you see this? Look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at that. Yep, feel free to grab sauce from the bottom. And guys, usually when in Morocco, if multiple people order this same dish, they would bring it to the table exactly like this, and they would lift the top off right in front of you so you can you all share the meal instead of just plating separately. And in Morocco, just like most of Africa, they eat with their hands. So, and they use bread to sop up the juices and the sauces and things like that. But what we have, I don't have Moroccan bread, but I do have some nice sourdough bread that would go with this beautifully. You can take a slice of sourdough, pop it in there with the chicken, give the chicken a little bit of parsley, a little more color. And there you have it, guys. A Moroccan chicken tagine with preserved lemon and olives. Easy to do, You don't need a tagine to do it. You could do it in a brazen pot. Now, I want the man of the hour to come and taste this dish and tell me what he thinks. Did I do Morocco any good?
Hello, listen guys, this has been an amazing shoot. It's been amazing because I was educated. I came here with one idea and now I'm going to go home and really look a lot of things up. Seriously, Chef Justice like really educated us. And I'm not talking about on camera, I'm talking about off camera as well. You do your homework on a person and then you hear them and you realize, yeah, there's so much more to this person. So Chef Justice, I appreciate you being on the
Yes,
show,
I appreciate
man.
you having me. I had fun.
Yeah, God, this was real deal. This was real deal. But this is the end. I have to try the meal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can I try the Cous Cous first? Cous Cous.
Yeah, sure.
These potatoes. Now he kind of gave me some of the eggplant. I just jumped right into it. I ain't even-
Yeah.
This is so good. Seasoned really well.
Yeah.
I always feel like with vegetables,
Season your food.
because I always feel like, especially when you're giving kids vegetables, you don't have to give them hot
No.
spices or anything, but just put a little seasoning on it. It brings it to life and it doesn't make it as boring. Eggplant tastes so amazing.
And it doesn't hurt to try something different. Try a different spice. Go outside the box. You might, really enjoy it.
Cous Cous with raisins.
Couscous with raisins. Yep.
Now, I think Cous Cous and raisins go hand in hand because I've
Yeah.
tried Cous Cous and when it's by itself, it's cool. But when you add something like you have like spices, and I gotta go home and do my homework on the spices as well because there's certain things I just didn't know. These raisins give it such a sweet pop to it.
Yeah, and you get a citrus pop because
Yeah.
they soaked in orange juice for a while.
Yeah. It's so amazing the preparation that goes into a lot of things. These are so good, and I've had Cous Cous, but I love your Cous Cous because it just tastes really good. Okay. Okay, one more eggplant, and then I'm gonna try the chicken.
Okay.
That's my plate, so nobody grab my plate. Now, I want to kind of get that bread in there and get some of that sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, that's special. That really is good.
Yeah.
That really is good.
And usually it's served with Moroccan bread.
Okay.
Fresh made Moroccan bread. But I use sourdough.
Yeah.
Same idea, crusty bread, good crusty bread.
Oh, that is good. Wow. All those seasonings came together.
Yeah.
And you,
Yeah.
wow. Why is that so good?
Well,
Why is that so good?
it's a complexity of flavors, And it's things that we don't normally eat, We don't
Okay.
normally eat Moroccan food on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And, I live in New York City, which we can find any kind of restaurant here. We can find any kind of spice here. But most people can't. You'll have to order some things online. But the dish is easy to do, and your family will be very happy trying this.
Okay. I'm gonna put this to the side.
Okay?
I'm gonna finish that later. My brother, that was really good. That was really good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna swallow this food. Now, if somebody goes on your page, they see you've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Well traveled. I mean, he really is well traveled. But let's talk about some of the foodie trips you take. Like I've seen you with some buddies, roasting a humongous pig. I've seen you in Morocco. I've seen you here and there. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, I have a section on my website. It's called a foodie road trip, and I created this section maybe 10 years ago because we travel a lot, and when we travel, food comes part and part with travel. You travel, you want to try food from other places. The things we eat here in New York may not be the same things they eat in South Carolina or in California. or in Hawaii or in the Caribbean. So what I like to do is I like to add this into my travel, meet people, learn their methods of cooking. This is the reason why how I learned to cook some Moroccan food, well, at least the basics of Moroccan food, because I connected with a chef in another place, in a foreign land. I have different sections of it. You'll find a foodie road trip North African edition. You will find the Caribbean edition. You would find the California edition, where it's like I drove from the northernmost city all the way to the southernmost city in California, all along trying different kinds of cuisines, from fine dining to street food.
Whoa,
that's what I love doing. Yeah, that's what I love doing.
Okay.
So that section, I hold that dearly within the website because I constantly update that part of it. You know, I flew to Memphis and immediately rented a car and drove the Blues Trail to Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Okay,
you know,
okay,
experience the food. That's, you know, what I love to do.
Yeah.
I just returned from Chicago. I took a road trip to Chicago, making stops in Cleveland to try food, South Bend, Indiana, multiple places in Chicago, Pittsburgh. You know, this is just, it's a passion of mine.
Okay.
Besides cooking, it's traveling and experiencing other cultures.
You were showing me the length you traveled going to Morocco. Like,
yeah.
That was.
Yeah. Well, Morocco. Yeah.
You guys covered a lot.
Yeah,
of
we
ground.
covered close to 1,400 miles of driving around Morocco. 122 miles of walking while we were in Morocco.
Okay.
And 113 floors climbed. So we really experienced the country from small, tiny villages to the big cities. So I learned a lot in that trip.
That's amazing. Let's talk about sous vide.
Sous vide.
Sous vide.
Sous vide cooking.
Sous vide international. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I know you're kind of affiliated with.
Okay. Well, sous vide is something I discovered maybe back in 2011, 2012. I'm into cooking wild game meats as well. I specialize in that's one of my specialties. I've cooked everything from snake to beaver to camel, and these are all things you'll find recipes for on my website. So with wild game cooking, the meat is really lean on most game meats. If you get venison or whatever it is, the meat is less fat, much leaner, and it benefits over sous vide cooking. Now, if you don't know, sous vide cooking, it's a method of cooking with low temperatures for a longer period of time, vacuum sealed in bags and placed into a water bath at a specific temperature. Okay, it's low temperature, longer time cooking, LT.
Yeah.
Okay.
LT.
And I started incorporating that into my website and into me cooking wild game meats. And then one day I looked in my email and I seen what somebody was asking me, do I want to write a cookbook?
Okay.
I thought it was spam.
Yeah.
I was about to send it to the spam folder, but I said, let me read it.
Okay.
It seemed legit. I did my research. Lo and behold, a company called Page Street Publishing wanted to do a book with me on whatever subject I wanted to do it on. Wild game is pretty much a niche. Not everybody's into that. So my second choice was sous vide cooking. And they jumped at the opportunity because none of their book authors has ever written a sous vide cookbook.
Gotcha.
So, to make a long story short, I wrote the cookbook. They loved it. It was published in 2018. It did really well in the genre. And that's it right there.
Yes.
And during my travels and social media, me putting so much food out there, most of it cooked sous vide, I met the founders to the International Sous Vide Association. Now this is an association that they specialize in the sous vide method of cooking.
Okay.
A lot of it is advanced, more advanced than home cooking, but it started with home cooking. So right now they're doing events, they hold cruises.
Okay.
They're doing a food road trip next year to Italy. They do a whole lot of big things to benefit the community. And from there, I was chosen as their executive chef.
Got you.
And I cooked 300 pounds of meat sous vide for them at one event.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big event, and it went over really well. So we all have a forever relationship, and I'm now on the advisory board.
Got you. Let's pick one person. One person that inspired you to either push on, get started, or, you know, I know we kind of spoke on how you jumped from construction into culinary, but is there one person that you can be like, yeah, that person kind of? Some people, it's like, I've had people, this is a mentor. Some people be like, a lot of people like it's their mom or grandmother. Do you have one person that you could say like, okay, that was the fuel in my engine?
Okay, I have two people that that I basically look at as mentors in this building.
Okay.
I mean, in this business. I have a good friend named Chef Shehu. He's from here. He's from Staten Island.
Gotcha.
He's basically been a chef since he was a child.
Gotcha,
You know, his
gotcha.
mother was a chef, and he came up as a chef.
Yeah.
Worked all the prestigious jobs, the Plaza Hotel in Midtown Manhattan.
Okay.
He won CHOP twice and things like that. But he also holds a prestigious position in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And Chef Rayshawn Banks. He's another good friend of mine. He was the chef that pulled me out of the culinary industry.
Okay.
And the first chef I went to work with that trained me on how to be a chef.
Gotcha.
He was a chef from Louisiana. They had restaurants in Louisiana. He moved here to New York, and he started his business here, and I came along with him on his business, and we did a lot of work together. He taught me a lot of things.
Okay. Last, where can we get the book from? Because I'm going, listen, this book is real deal. I'm going to buy me a copy. I'm not going to be asking, you know, Chef Justice, slip me a copy. No, I want an autographed copy, but where can we find the book at?
Well, the book, if you want a signed copy directly from me, you can reach out to me by going to my website, gourmetdeconstructed.com. You can send me an email at gourmetdeconstructed@yahoo.com, and you can contact me. But if you want to learn more about the book before, you can find it on Amazon. You can find it on my website, and it'll give you all the information you need if you want to purchase a copy.
Okay.
It's a labor of love. The book basically is 75 recipes from around the world. So around the world in 75 recipes. The book is full colored, full colored with pictures. It has many recipes all the way to desserts.
Hold up.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a whole table of contents to teach you the sous vide basics.
Okay.
It'll tell you all the equipment you need, the time and temperatures of the dishes you want to cook. And when you go inside, that's basic, but when you go inside, it's going to give you the more composed recipes.
Gotcha.
And everything from pork to beef to chicken. There's nothing really wild game in here, except I have a recipe for veal tongue tacos, which, you know, some people may take exception to it, but it's great recipes in the book.
But it's if I want to know more about your game, I can go on your website. Right?
Yes, my website, you'll find recipes. I have a section for wild game. Just click on wild game and it'll take you to the game dishes I have available.
Okay. Listen, very informative. The brother is serious. He's from Brooklyn. He's from Queens, actually. I got that, but he Brooklyn though. Okay.
New York.
Queensbridge, Nas, all you
New York
guys.
City.
This is 1 hour, so
City.
it's all good. But listen, we're gonna bring it to a close. I need to educate myself. He was educating me on a lot of things. The book will educate me more, so I'm definitely want to support. Listen, when she don't cook for you, Chef Justice showed us what to do. People, this has been an amazing segment. Can't wait to get home and start cutting it up. You guys have a good night, and Chef Justice, thank you, thank you so much.
Yes.
All right?
Happy cooking, guys.
Yes. Be good, y'all. We're out of here.